What is up, you guys? This is the world's first colored e-reader, and today we're going to talk about if it's worth your money or not. What is up, you guys? My name is Morgan, and in case you didn't know, I absolutely love reading. I read upwards of 3 books a day, and I'm very familiar with e-readers or Kindles. I love to use e-readers. It's one of the main ways that I read, and I really want to talk about the world's first colored e-reader today because it's kind of a big deal if you're into e-readers or if you're into Kindles. Like, it's kind of a big deal for us, so let's get into it. Now, if you're familiar with e-readers, then you would know that they don't typically have color on them. This is due to the fact that the pixels that make up the screen are incapable of showing you color, just like a black and white TV. Now, this is largely due to the aesthetic. We haven't really made colored e-readers in the past just because people like the black and white. They like the fact that it feels like they're actually reading a book without having to carry around an actual physical book. This is a Kindle Scribe. Kindle is one of the leading manufacturers of ebooks because they're owned by Amazon. They make some of the best Kindles and they make the most amount of Kindles. However, there is a new company that's up and coming, and I think they've kind of stolen the spotlight when it comes to the colored e-reader. Now, if you're a big reader and you use an e-reader, then you would know that Kindle's not launching their colored e-reader until 2025. However, Kobo, or Rakuten, has recently launched the first colored e-reader. A lot of people think that they did this largely to undercut Amazon or to just get ahead of the curve. And I have to be honest, I really do applaud their ingenuity because they did it before anybody else. And Amazon, it's gonna be at least another year before we see our Amazon colored e-reader. So I really do admire the fact that they managed to do it very quickly. Now, Kobo launched 2 colored e-readers, the Kobo Clara and the Kobo Libra Color. Now, the Kobo Libra is easily comparable to the Kindle Oasis. They both have 7-inch screens and they both have the buttons on the side to turn the pages. Now, where they differ is a little bit interesting. Now, Kobo is not a new e-reader company. We're just talking about them now because they've done something that not even Kindle, one of the leading manufacturers of e-reader, has been able to do. Now, Kobo has been around for a really long time. As a matter of fact, the Kobo Libra Color, the first colored e-reader, has a predecessor, the Kobo Libra 2. Now, these are the exact same, the only difference being that one is in color and one is not. They're both virtually the same Kindle other than that. But I do find it interesting because I've never really heard of Kobo up until the fact that they released a colored e-reader. And I tested out this Libra a couple weeks before I got the colored version, and it's a really nice adaptation of the Kindle Oasis. Since the Kindle Oasis is no longer widely available, if you've been itching for one, I feel like this Kobo Libra is such a great replacement and such a good alternative for it that you may not even need to hunt down an Oasis. You could just buy this. Now, obviously, we're talking about the Kobo Libra today, but I did think you guys needed a little bit more of a history lesson on where this company came from exactly. But let's get into the features of the Kobo Libra Color. The Kobo Libra Color retails for $219 with a stylus that is separate for $64. Bringing the price for the stylus and the actual unit to be around $300. Now, this is almost the exact same price as the Kindle Scribe, which is significantly bigger than the Libra. Now, obviously, since this is colored, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive than your standard e-reader. We did say when we figured out that these were gonna be coming our way, that due to the extensive hardware that has to go into these units to become colored versions, they are going to be a little bit more expensive than what you are typically used to seeing with an e-reader unit. Now, one thing I'm totally gonna give Kobo props for is that I don't feel like they've totally overcharged you for what you're getting. I bought the Kobo Libra a week before the colored version came out, and it was $180, which is about $30 less than the colored version. Now, I feel like this is a great price jump for the colored and non-colored versions, so I don't feel like they're totally screwing you over, but I do feel like we will be expected to see an increase in pricing depending on the size of the colored e-reader and the unit itself. Another thing I want to talk about that a lot of you were really shocked about is that the stylus was $64. Now, that's a little bit expensive, and it did kind of annoy me that I had to buy the stylus separately. It is very interesting. I don't care for the Kobo Rakuten stylus. It's not my favorite. I much prefer the stylus that came from my Kindle Scribe. this one overall because this is really heavy. It may not look like it, but it is a very heavy stylus. Additionally, you also have to charge this, which for the features that it has in it, I don't understand why it needs to be charged due to the fact that this stylus does pretty much the same thing as my Kindle Scribe stylus, and it is a widely known fact that you do not have to charge the Kindle Scribe stylus. I would have preferred to have seen a wireless stylus personally. The only feature that the stylus utilizes is that if you press the button along the side, it will highlight. That's it. Like you press the button and you drag it across the screen, it'll highlight, which I think, in my opinion, is kind of stupid and not a lot of thought went into this, but nobody asked me. Another thing that kind of bothers me is that the first generation of stylus, this is technically the stylus 2 from Rakuten, doesn't work on the colored e-reader. Now, this stylus 2 is the only stylus that Kobo has that works on the colored e-reader. Additionally, the Kindle Scribe stylus and any other stylus essentially does not work on this e-reader, which annoys me to no end because it sort of puts a paywall behind the fact that I have to buy the one from Rakuten in order to utilize the features that make the Kobo Libra color so unique. Now, to get into the features of the Kobo Libra color, let's talk about what makes this different and why this colored feature is sort of very interesting. Now, obviously, if you're reading a book, it's going to be in black and white. You're like, Morgan, why would I need color if I'm just going to read a book? Now, this is more for people who annotate. For instance, you can highlight in several different colors. You can annotate in several different colors: green, blue, pink, yellow, and I believe a lighter shade of red like orange. And you can use all of these colors on the Kobo Libra. Now, this is more for somebody who's into journaling and annotating and highlighting, somebody who's a very active reader who likes to leave their notes behind and sort of like notate as they go on. If you do just like to read and that's it, then I don't really see why this would be the e-reader for you. I would just pick up a Kindle Paperwhite or something else. Maybe even the Kobo Clara, which is their other colored e-reader. It does not have any notation features. It's literally just a reading Kindle. The Kobo Color also has a notebook feature, meaning that you can go in to make a notebook and you can sort of jot down your notes. Now, the only other e-reader that has this function is the Kindle Scribe. This came out earlier this year and it also has a notebook function. This was actually the first e-reader to include a notebook function, and I really love it. If you are a student or somebody who's in school who's constantly taking notes, the Kindle Scribe and any other ebook that's capable of a notation feature is definitely going to be very useful for you, because I love to take notes on this thing because I don't have to carry around any bulky paper. I don't have to worry about anything. It's just sort of there, and I really love that. Now, the Kobo Color also has the same features as the Kindle when it comes to notebooks. So if you're into that, then this is definitely going to be the e-reader for you. This is really small compared to the Scribe. So if you've never really liked the size of the Scribe, but you really wanted the notebook feature, I would get the Kobo Color. Now, when describing and sort of explaining what the Kobo Libra color is, I like to describe it as a mix between the Kindle Oasis and the Kindle Scribe. If these two had a baby, I feel like it would be the Kobo Libra color. They're pretty much, these two Kindles are like in one with this. So I think that's really interesting, just because it's got the size of a Kindle Oasis and the features of a Kindle Scribe. Like, it can take notes. It is small enough, like the Kindle Oasis. It has the two little page turning buttons. I definitely feel like this is a very interesting e-reader and one that we haven't seen before. But before we get into this a little bit more, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Guys, I'm sweating. I'm in Florida and I'm filming this under 3 lights. Like, there's literally 3 lights. In case you can figure it out by now, there's no sponsor. I'm the sponsor, okay? $300 on a Kindle, $400 actually, if we're gonna count the Oasis, $400. Guys, help a girl out, okay? Help a girl out. Go ahead and hit subscribe. That's literally all you guys do. Watch the whole entire video. Get me those 4,000 watch hours so I can start getting paid by YouTube. But yeah, it's a lot, guys. I would really appreciate your help. If you guys really do want to support my channel monetarily, there are a couple different things you can do. I do have merch on Fanjoy. It's Bama Morgan merch. You guys can go buy that. Or if you want to do something a little bit different, If you don't know, I am obsessed with decorating my Kindle with these fun little stickers. Everything that I use to decorate my Kindles and to sort of make them look pretty is available in my Amazon Marketplace or my Amazon storefront. I have linked it down below, so if you are interested in buying anything from Amazon, like stickers, you can totally do that. I get a commission off of everything that you purchase using my link, even if it's not in my storefront. So yeah, if you've been holding off on purchasing anything from Amazon, give me that. I think I get like 5%. So give me that 5%, guys. But other than that, let's get back to the video because I can't stand in front of this light anymore. Like, it's starting to drive me. There's literally water. Overall, I think that the colors that the Kobo shows are beautiful. Now, I don't, like I said, feel like this is just for your everyday reader, but one thing that I find to be very interesting is if you are really into graphic novels, this is going to be amazing for you because you can download graphic novels and you can get them in color and you can read your graphic novels in color. And I find that to be a really amazing feature because I know a lot of you are really into graphic novels. So if that's one of your primary like reading mediums, then I feel like this is going to be a great e-reader for you. Again, if you're not really an active reader, I would just pick up the Kobo Clara, which again is like the Kindle Paperwhite, just colored. I think that that would be a much better fit if you're just reading. But if you read and take notes and stuff, this will be for you. Obviously, I've given you all the benefits of the Kobo color. Let's talk about some of its drawbacks because it definitely has some. So as I mentioned earlier, Kobo is not the running leader when it comes to the production and the distribution of ebooks. That is Kindle. Now, one thing you all may not have thought of is when you purchase a book on your Kindle, it comes from Amazon. And since Amazon is one of the biggest online distributors of any kind of product, that means that they have almost every single book that they can get their hands on. Now, one of the issues that I ran into while I was trying to put books onto my Kobo color was that I could not find any of the books on my TBR. Now, before I purchased the Kobo color, I stopped buying books on my Amazon because when I got the colored e-reader, I wanted to be able to have an influx of books that I wanted to read to put onto the Kobo. So I had about 15 to 20 books that I was going to purchase on the Kobo and I was going to read strictly on the Kobo just to grow my library with Rakuten and Kobo. However, I noticed a very disturbing trend with the books that I wanted to purchase. Now, if you don't know me, I read 3 books a day, meaning that I am primarily reading from indie authors due to the fact that I've just read every mainstream book. And one thing I noticed is that there is not a lot of indie authors, smaller brand authors on the Kobo library. Like, you cannot purchase any kind of smaller authors' books. You can buy your big books like Twilight, A Court of Thorns and Roses, Throne of Glass, any kind of bigger book that you can think of, you can purchase on the Kobo store, but you can't find any smaller authors. And there is a reason for this. When you see a smaller author with their book on Kindle Unlimited, that means they have signed an exclusive contract, meaning that they are not allowed to go outside of Kindle and put their book on any other platform. Now, this means that they can only be on Kindle and there's nothing else they can do. I do feel like since Kobo has definitely jumped the gun on the technology surrounding the e-reader and they're becoming a little bit more known, I do feel like we will see a lot of authors start to move from Kindle to Kobo, or maybe do both at the same time. I don't know. But I did notice that there were a couple of my favorite indie authors who currently had their books up for pre-order on Kobo when they're already available on Kindle. So I do think that we are going to see this sort of transference of authors from Amazon to Kobo. However, I don't think it'll be soon. I think it'll be a little while before they really work their stuff out. Now, what does this mean for the readers? This means that you're gonna have a really hard time finding books that you wanna read on the Kobo library. I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you this, but I had a hard time putting books on this thing. I ended up putting 3 graphic novels on it and 2 books, one of them being The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. Now, I'm not saying this to discourage you from buying the Kobo. If you buy a Kobo's unlimited plan, I believe it's $7.99 a month. It's like Kindle Unlimited. You can download all the books you want. You should be fine. You should be able to find a lot of Kobo exclusive authors because there are authors out there that only put their books on Kobo. But right now, a lot of the authors are still with Kindle because A, they get paid more, and B, it's a bigger company and it wouldn't make sense for them to move from Kindle to Kobo. Now, if you don't know, I have a book club. It's Book Clubbing with Morgan. We meet every Saturday at 7 p.m. CDT over on TikTok Live. Now, We are currently reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. I wanted to purchase the book on the Kobo e-reader so that way I could use the Kobo and tell my book club if I liked this e-reader or not. The A Court of Thorns and Roses was $13.99 on the Kobo and it was $15.99 on Amazon. So that means it was definitely cheaper. However, what I did notice when I was trying to stuff my Kobo is that while Amazon has a lot of books that are in the $2 to $3 range, Kobo's books are at a minimum $5 or $6, which is kind of expensive. If you don't know, I bought 6 books from Kobo and it was roughly $50. I can buy 6 books on Amazon for like $25, and the prices were not adding up or matching up, and it was kind of annoying, to be quite honest, because of how much money I spent on 5 books. Now granted, books are obviously, they fluctuate in price, but we're not talking like bigger books. We're talking like small indie authors with books that were $10 when they're typically $2 or $3 on Kindle. So I definitely think we're seeing a price influx over on Kobo when it comes to your average like indie author books. But when it comes to those bigger box books, I do think that they do have very competitive pricing. Obviously, it's time for my final thoughts on the Kobo Libra color. Do I think this is worth it? In my opinion, as an avid reader, yes. I feel like the Kobo color is worth it for a couple different reasons. Let's talk about it. As I mentioned, this has a notation feature and it's colored, which is unique, unlike anything we've seen on the market before, and obviously no other brand has it. So as somebody who takes notes religiously for school, I do appreciate the fact that I can now take them in color and I can differentiate my notes versus having them just be black and white like they are on the Kindle Scribe. I also don't feel like $219 is a bad enough price for the color for me to feel like it's not worth it. Now, when we add the stylus to it is when it really becomes the question, is it really worth it? Because I do feel like it's kind of a cash grab for the stylus. I'm sorry. I don't feel like there is any reason why this stylus should be $64 or $75. Can't remember exactly. It's expensive, okay? Moral of the story is it's over $50 for this stylus that is only gonna work on this Kindle. It's just, it annoys me. It does, it grates on me. Again, also another thing that I feel is a little bit jank, if you will, is the case that you have to buy for the Kobo. Now, this is the clear case I bought. As you can tell, the pen is just free for all, which is stupid because the magnet on this sucks. Like, it's so bad. It gets me angry. Like, I can't walk around with this attached to the side without fearing it falling off, okay? The magnets on this absolutely suck. At least with my Scribe, this pen, even without the case going over it, does not fall off, okay? The magnets on this is so strong, but with the Kobo, it's so easy to knock it off and lose it. I have lost the stylus at least twice, and I've had it for a week. It's starting to get on my nerves. And one thing that I feel like Kobo kind of did that's kind of skeezy is they didn't include a shelf for the stylus. So what I mean by that is this clear case for my Scribe has a little shelf that extends over the place where the stylus is. So that way it's being tugged to the Kindle and it's not gonna move. You literally have to pop it out to get it out. Kobo didn't do that. They just left it free for all. They made a little indentation so that the stylus can get closer to the e-reader, but in my opinion they did this so that the stylus can fall off and then maybe they get another $65 or $75 out of you for another stylus. I think that that's why they made this particular design choice. And if you go and look at their website, almost all of their covers, sleep covers, or their cases do not include a place for the stylus to rest. Only one does, and that's the notebook cover, and it's $40. You're telling me I have to pay you an additional $40 to get a case that will kind of protect the stylus and make sure it doesn't fall off? That is, in my opinion, beyond just like a cash grab. That's just kind of disgusting. So yeah, they definitely get a lot of hate from me for that because, again, literally I have to find some, I put this in a plastic bag when I walk around with it, okay? It literally goes in a sandwich bag so that they can't be separated. Additionally, one thing that I thought was also kind of skeezy is they didn't offer any kind of packs or like, I thought it was weird that you had to buy everything separate and pay full price for each item you purchased, okay? In my opinion, I am a marketing major at the University of Alabama. I would have done a pack of like clear case, Kobo, and stylus for $300 or $320. That way, giving the person who's buying everything like a small discount. But instead, I had to pay full price for every single thing that I bought. And that, it's just weird. And I think, and obviously this is not Amazon. This is not like this big corporation. It is literally Kobo Rakuten. They are not like this big well-known organization. So obviously we're gonna see a little bit of a difference in terms of how they do things. But this just, it kind of grates on my nerves, and I didn't feel like it was 100% honest and transparent with the consumer. And I also just felt like I was kind of a cash grab. I'm not gonna lie. Now, the question is, would I recommend this Kindle to anybody? And the answer is no. I do not feel like the average consumer needs this e-reader. This is more for a student or somebody who's a highly active reader. I feel like this will be the Kindle for you. If you just read leisurely, I would get the Kobo Clara that's also in color. But if you are just like a regular reader, you don't need this. This has notation features in the notebook. I feel like this is more for a student who really enjoys taking colored notes and making their notes look all pretty. And I do feel like this is more for that kind of crowd. But again, if you really like to read, just get the Kobo Clara or Kindle Paperwhite. Other than that, I'm super excited to see what this can do, and I will definitely keep on using it, and I will update you guys over on my other socials as to how I feel about it. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys today, and I love you guys. Bye.